further concepts that we are left with. So until the last class, we have seen that how we'll be able to create the various input types that we can do with the forms of the HTML, right? So further coming to the next concept, you have the many other controls that you can create with these HTML elements here. Okay. So the one among that important one is the input type is equal to file here, right? So what does this is going to do is it is going to read a file from the your system. So whenever you want to have the field in your form where you want to read something from their system, so exactly the way how you upload some files through your system while filling some data in the form. So at that time you can go for taking the input type is equal to file as a field over there. Okay. So for which you can see here, if you want to take the input type is equal to file, where it is going to allow the user to upload files from their system. So in that case, make sure that the form method value needs to be the post, and one more attribute is required over there is encryption type. So this ENCTYPE attribute is mandatory whenever you want to keep these kinds of fields in your form, that is choosing a file from the system. Okay, so in that case, the value of this encryption type attribute should be the multipart slash form hyphen data. So which states that encryption, what the file that is being uploaded can be of the multiple data, and it should be encrypted with this format here. So don't worry about what format it is. So just remember that whenever you want to read the any file, whenever you want the allow the user to upload some files from their system, within the form element itself, this attribute is mandatory with this value here. Okay. So follow to that, the rest of the thing is same. So if you want to give a label using the label element, go for you doing that using the label element followed by the value over here. And here in this input element, the type should have the value as a file. The type attribute should have the value as a file and the name of your choice. Okay. So this itself is going to create this button. This button is going to be created by default for this input type, and it is going to allow the user to choose the file. So the file can be of the anything. Okay. So coming to the next one is typically the input values needs to be validated, right? So although the server side validation is required, optional client side pre-validation is a good practice. So however, it is a good habit of keeping a validation at the client side, instead sending everything at the server side over there. Okay. So these two elements, the number and the range elements, are the something where you want to keep the user to give the input in terms of the some range values here. So for example, this one. See, you might have given this kind of input at several websites. Whenever you are asked to give the ratings, instead of typing the number, you can give them the range where they can select the range from the lower to the upper boundary, right? So in as shown in this figure here, so read this photo, so you can see here up and down arrows are given here, so which is for increasing the numeric value and for decreasing the numeric value. So both the number and range are going to take the input in terms of the number itself, the integer value itself. So in this case, how to create this kind of the input and this kind of the input, we'll see here. So the type value, the input type is equal to number. So this particular input is going to create the number value to be taken with the up and down arrows, or with the up and down arrows provided over here. Okay. So for which again the two more attributes are required here to tell that uh, till what range the number needs to be fixed for taking the input from the user here. So the minimum, you have to give the minimum value as well as the maximum value. That means whenever in this example you can see the minimum value is 1 and the maximum is 5. Right. So that means you are restricting the user to give the input only within this range. At minimum, he can give only 1. So at max, the user can give only the value up to 5 here. Correct. So the follow to that, you have the name attribute, which is required for the every input for the value of your choice. So this is going to play a role whenever the data is being sent to the server. Right. So similarly, you might have seen that this kind of input is also created in order to give the range of the numbers without displaying the any numeric value over here. So how to create this kind of the input is input element with a type value as a range. So if you want to create this kind of the input in your form, you can use the input element with a type value as a range, and as usual you are going to use these two attributes to fix the min and the max value that can be taken with this kind of the range. And you can see here one more attribute is used here, step. So why the step attribute is required here is, so in this case if you increase, so it is by default it is going to increment by 1 here. Okay, so it is going to increment by 1, and if you decrease it is going to decrement by 1 here, right? So in this case whenever you move this, it is it has a behavior that it is going to move, it is not going to indicate the any value by how much it is incremented, right? So in that case you have to, if you want to put a restriction that by how many values it has to be incremented whenever you move this cursor over here, so this is going to be identified with the step attribute with the value over as a numeric value here. So in this case you can see here the step is 1, that means whenever you move this it is going to be incremented by as many stages here. So if you take it as a 2, so from 0 if you move it by 1 bit, so definitely it is going to be incremented to the 2, then 4, then 6. So the step value is 2 over there. If the step value is 4, then it is going to take it as a 0 to 4, 4 to 8, and so on. Okay, so along with these attributes, as usual, you require the name attribute as well of the with the value of your choice here. Okay. Okay. So the one more input value that you can create here is the color. Right. So this is a very least used kind of the input. So in very depending upon the requirement, the form what you are creating, if you require the color to be taken as an input from the user side, so at that time you can go for using the this kind of the input over there. Right. So where you will be displaying this color palette format to the user to select the color by the user. So at that time you can see here the input element, the type value should be the color and the name again of your choice. So this itself is going to create this button over there, and once you click on this button, so this palette will be displayed in order to read the color from the user. But one more thing is this element, the input type is equal to color, has been not yet supported by the many of the browsers, right? So whenever if you use this in your form, there may be a case that you might not get this required result in your form, right? So that is because that this particular element is still under working and it has been not yet supported by the many of the browsers, and sometimes even the Chrome is also not going to support this input over there. Okay, so coming to the next one is whenever you require the date and the time values to be read by the user. So you might have given the many times, right? So whenever you are filling the any form or whenever you are interacting with the internet, right? So you might have experienced that you have given the time and the date as a input from through your system, right? So how to create the such kind of the inputs here? So you can see here, so whenever you click on the date option, probably you will be displayed with a calendar. Is it so? Right. So the best example is whenever you are asked to give your date of birth, right? So instead of typing the entire date of birth, if you click on that option, you will be provided with the calendar, isn't it? So where you are going to select directly the year, month, and the date over there. So how that can be created in your HTML is using this label date, and input type is equal to date. The value for the type attribute is date here. Correct. Okay, so in the same way, whenever you want the input time to be created in your form, you can go for using the input type is equal to time over here. So if you use this in your form, it is going to create in this form where it is going to give you these two buttons in order to increase and decrease the time values over there. Okay, so you can also create the date as well as the time together as a input by using the input type is equal to date time. The type attribute should have the value as a date time in order to create both the calendar as well as the timing inputs to be taken over here. So this is going to ask you even the time zone. Zone in the sense in which zone you want to give the input as a date or the time, whether you want to give it the Indian time or the somewhere else from the other part of the world over there, right? But suppose if you want to restrict it to the local area that is within the India itself, and at that time you can go for using the input type is equal to date time local. So this is going to consider the local timings to be taken as an input from the user, so for which again it is going to give you the calendar along with the time inputs. Okay. So similarly, you also have the values to take read only the month and only the week. So in case of the month, it is going to give you again the calendar with the respective year. That means whenever you select the any month, it is going to take the month along with the year as a input here. So in the same case, whenever you take it as a week, it is also going to take the month with respect to the week along with the year as a input over there. Okay. So for which you need to create it as a input type is equal to week. Okay, so these are the same things that I have just now discussed. Okay. See, you can by this you can see that how many different options you can create by using only the input element in your HTML form. So for that you should be able to remember that what values you need to take for the type attribute in order to create the required input over there. So let's see with an example now. So you can see here. Are you able to see this result here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in this case, you can see here the same thing, whatever I've just discussed you. Again, the different kinds of the inputs that you can create with the input element here. The first one is among the choose file, right? So for which what we have used input type is equal to file, isn't it? So for this, you can see here, I don't know whether this arrow mark is visible to you or not, but I am clicking here the arrow mark just in case to increase and decrease the value to give the numeric value as an input between the range 1 and the 5 here. Okay. So I don't know whether it is visible or not. Right? So is it visible? At least the input, the number that I am increasing or decreasing, is it visible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So this is the result of what kind of input? Input type is equal to what should we give here? Just now I discussed, right? So input type is equal to number. So if you create the input element with the type value as a number, you will be able to create this kind of the input to be read from the user, where you can restrict it with a particular range, that is with the min and the max value, that what is the range that you can put, the user can enter as a value here. Here instead of typing, the user can simply increase or decrease the values, right? So the same way you can also see here one more kind of the input that we have created here is this one. So read this photo can also be taken, but here the user will not be able to see the numeric value that is being given once he increases or decreases this range over here, right? So instead by default it is going to be increment by one or by one position, or decrement by the one position. Why? Because you have used the step attribute over there, right? So what kind of element we have used here? Input type is equal to
Range.
range, right? So the input type is equal to range, again with the min and the max attributes along with the step attribute to tell that, so the whenever he increases by how many steps it has to increment, or whenever it user decrements, So by how many steps it has to decrement over here. Okay. So the next one is the color. Let's see whether the Google is supporting here. Yes, the Chrome is supporting to take the color as an input over here, right? So if you take input type is equal to color with the label as a choose color, it is going to show you here the default box to indicate that once the user clicks on that, it is going to give you the color palette to select the various colors over here. I don't know whether this palette is visible to you or not. Is it visible? The color palette is visible?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No,
No, ma'am.
no,
Only
right?
changing colors visible.
Oh, okay. At least the changing colors is visible over there.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So try to run. Might be while executing over on this web page here, it might not be shared in this meet over there. But when you try it by your own, you will be able to see that you are able to give the, or else you are allowing the user to give the color as an input through the color palette, right? So the user can select the any color of their choice depending by selecting the different ranges of the colors over here. Okay, so try it by your own, right? So the next one is the date. So when you take the input type is equal to date, you can see here this is the format shown here, that it is going to read the date in terms of the month, followed by the date and followed by the year. And once you click here, so it is going to give your, I think even the calendar is also not visible for you. So once I just click on this input here, it is going to display you the calendar through which you can select the year followed by the month and followed by the date over there. Okay, so this is 19th June 2021. So similarly, you can see here the time input has been created here. And if I click on this again, it is showing you here the time, the hours, the minutes, and it is even allowing you to specify whether the AM or the PM. So instead of typing, you can also select just simply the time over here. The first part is the hour, the next part is the minutes, followed by the AM or the PM here. Okay. So to this date and time, you can see here nothing is given as an input here. Instead, it is just taking it as only the text box to enter or type. Why is that so? Because I think the again the here Chrome is not yet supporting this option over here. So as I told you, what these all elements are completely introduced with the HTML 5th version. So whichever you feel that is not yet taking the it in the required format, it is not yet taking the input in the required format. In that case, the browser is not yet supporting that option over there. Okay. So in the next one also month, you can see here, yes, the month is working correctly here. So in this case, it is going to show you again the calendar with a specific year and the month. You can select the month over there. Okay. So followed to that again, you have the week where it is going to allow you to select the year followed by the month and followed by the week over there. Right. So if you specify any inputs, you can see here week 18, 2021. So 18 in the sense, since it is going to start with the first week from the January until till the December, it is going to count it continuously. So it is not going to mention the any month over there. Instead, it is going to count all the weeks continuously from January to the December over there. Okay, so for that, I think you have so many weeks over there. Okay, so if you want, you can experiment with that. Okay, so to get all these options as a on your web page, so already have discussed with you the elements required over there. So even though I'll show you the programming part of this. So you can see here the form element has been created with the method as a post. And I even told you that this is the attribute that you need to use in the form element with the value as a multi-part slash form data. So just tell me when do we require to use this attribute in the form element? When do we require to use this attribute in the form element, that is encryption type? When do we require to use this attribute in the form element?
Using
For,
file.
if you want to use this particular element, if you want to use this particular element, that is input type is equal to file. So if you want to use it only at that time, the form element should have the encryption type enctype as an attribute in it with the value as a multipart slash form data. Okay, so this is going to tell that you want to read the file from the system. Okay, so the next thing is to give the range, to take the range of the number input from the user. You have to use the input type is equal to number, as I told you, min and the max value over there, along with the name attribute. Okay, so one more option to take the range value from the user is input type is equal to range, again with the min and the max value, and step attribute is optional, as I told you. If you take the step attribute, it is going to increase gradually with the step that has been specified here, right? So along with that, the name attribute is however the default one which has to be used with the every input element. Okay, so follow to that, the color input that you want to take, that needs to be done with the input type is equal to color. And for all the inputs, you can see here I have used the label element. Again, it is not mandatory that you have to use only the label element. You can use the other element as well in order to put this as a heading to the input. Either you can go for using the any other text elements like paragraph or the heading also. Okay, so it will be feasible if you take it as a label in case of the form labels. Okay, so input type is equal to color. Again, as usual, you need to use the name attribute here. Right. So follow to that, all the date and times inputs has been specified here. Input type is equal to date in order to read the date along with the name attribute, and input type is equal to time in order to read only the time from the user with the name attribute. And if you want to read both date and time, so the input type is equal to date time together as a value to the type attribute here, so along with the name attribute. And follow to that, if you want to read only the month from the user, at that time you can go for using the input type is equal to month along with the name attribute. And even in case of the week, if you want to read the week from the user, you can go for using the input type is equal to week along with the name attribute here. So these simple things, whatever I have discussed, I just put it in a single web page, and I have just shown you that how you are able to see all those things. So see, the same way you go on practicing. So whichever the elements that I have discussed today, so the same element, it hardly takes 10 minutes of time. You have the book, right? So you know what is the format to be used for, what is the syntax to be followed for the each element. You just type it and run that program, you'll get to know how it is used. So try to miss the some attributes and you'll get to know what does it is going to make difference. In this case, I have missed the step attribute, right? So if I miss this step attribute while executing, whenever I increase it, you can say see over there that whenever I move that cursor without any range, you would move it from the one position to the another position. So if you take it a step attribute, you would be able to move it gradually from the one value to the another value with the step value that you have taken over there, isn't it? So in the same way, you can experiment with your program also. So whenever you use them in your program, you can just put a restriction and you can just simply miss some of the attributes just to experiment that how does it is going to make difference whenever you do that. The thing is that you have to do that whenever you work by your own, then only you will get to know how does it is going to make difference with the every element and the every attribute within that element. Okay, so is this example clear to you? Is this example clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So coming to the last concept of this chapter. Okay, some theory concept is there with this last bit of this chapter, table and the form accessibility, right? So one thing I'll just want to make you clear that this accessibility is purely with respect to the how best you can make your web page accessible to the users. Even though if some content that you have designed in the web, if it is not able to be viewed properly on the screen, still the user should be able to identify at least what is there and for what purpose we have put that content. So that is said to be as the web accessibility, right? So not all the web users are able to view the content on the web pages in the same manner. Why? Because there is a wide variety of the users for the web pages that you are developing. See, no matter whether you are a web developer or the any other software developer, it is your responsibility that whenever you are developing on any kind of the software, you should be in position that you always have to think that the client or the users who are going to use your software might not be a technical person. So this is the first thing that you need to keep in your mind whenever you work on the any project, right? So always make sure that the what kind of users will be are going to use your software, keeping in the mind with the lowest range of the users where they have the very least knowledge of the software. In that case, you should be in a condition that how your software is going to give the best service even for the such kind of the people. So keeping the same thing in the mind here also, what has been instructed is whenever you are developing, make sure that whatever the content that you are going to put in the web page, it should be easily accessible to the all kind of the users, even though he is not a technical, or even though he is not able to read whatever has been given in the web page. So to do that, what are the different options that you can take? It is left to you as a challenge, right? So there are the many cases that how you can handle this. So the one is the term web accessibility refers to the assistive technologies, various features of the HTML that work with those technologies, and different coding and designing practices that make a site more usable for the people with visual mobility, auditory and cognitive disabilities. So you can see here, even they are instructing, or they are telling that it is always a good habit for you as a developer, that how best you can develop your web pages, so that even the persons with various disabilities should be able to know what has been put in the content. Like if he is visually disabled, there should be some audio softwares, just by clicking on it, the it should read all the contents that has been put in the web page. So audio, that could be the best option, would be the text to the voice messages. So you can use it in your website, just to, by clicking on that, it should start reading the whatever has been put over there. And another thing is, I told you, while creating the images in your web page at the time, so if the image is not able to be displayed on the web page, you can put the alternate text message, just to tell that what was the image that was supposed to be uploaded in that place. So in the similar way, you can think of your creativity, that how best you can make your web page to be accessible to the everyone, all kind of the users. Okay, so in order to improve the accessibilities of the websites, the W3C created the Web Accessibility Initiative as a one platform where you can go through the various options that has been provided through that platform, just to know that how best you can make your websites accessible to the everyone. And it has even provided certain guidelines to be followed by the developers, that what best can be done in a web while creating the web pages, so that it is accessible to the everyone. So what are the guidelines? We'll see here. First one among that is provide text alternatives for any non-text content, so that it can be changed into the other forms people need, such as the large print, braille, speech, symbols, or the simpler language. So whenever you have the any audio content in your web page, any video content, or only the image content or the animation content, suppose if people is not able to sense what those are, in that case always it is suggested that even along with all those contents, you should also provide the text information regarding those contents. Just by reading that, the at least the people will be able to understand that what kind of content has been put over there. So create the content that can be presented in the different ways without losing the information or the structure. For example, the simpler layout. So instead of making it more design, instead of making it more attractive, which might be sometimes very difficult for the people to understand that what is the structure of the content, how the content is flowing. For example, if you have taken paragraph in one position, and the flow of the content of that next paragraph might be placed somewhere else in the position, just to make it more attractive or more design presentations, which might be done by you. In that case, probably for the some users it might be attractive, and even the people will be able to understand it. But you also have to think about the people who could not recognize where the next content is and how it has to be identified. For that, always it would be better that if you take a simpler layout, that is simple layout with a simple content flow, where that every kind of the people will be able to understand it. Okay. So make all the functionality available through the keyboard, and provide the ways to help users navigate, find the content, and determine where they are. So navigation, if the web page is too large, navigation needs to be provided so that the user will be able to find it. And if you have some very short information at the first part of the page and the rest of the content is followed somewhere else, you should provide the proper direction or the proper information that where he has to switch in order to get the complete information, right? So this is entirely related to the how best you are going to make the content whatever you have constructed easily accessible to the users, and how best you will see that the all the content needs to be understood by the every kind of the people, not only with the people who has the technical background. You have also have to think about the people who are completely even new to the internet technology or even the software technology. You also have to think about that people, so that's only make the best use of the website that you are developing. See, that again depends upon the kind of the website you are developing. So for that, see, I think you might have studied the software engineering subject, isn't it? So in that you might have gone through the concept of the use case diagrams, in which you will be first identifying the different kinds of the users who are going to use your software. Depending upon that, you are going to build the use case diagrams to get to know that the how each user is going to interact with your software, right? So in the same way, even when you are developing the website, you have to make sure to identify the all the different kinds of the users. And once you have done that, you should be able to identify how each user is going to use your software. So depending upon that, you can start constructing your website just to make your website easier to each kind of the user. Okay. So to do that, one more thing is make sure that whatever you include, whether you include the image, video, table, or the anything audio, so make sure that you use the proper message for the each of the things that you include in your website. For example, if you are putting any table within your website, so make sure that that table has a proper caption element, that is heading, to tell that the what is the information that is contained within that table, right? So one more thing is connect the cells with the textual description in the header. So this is done with the scope attribute within the header here. So here it is going to tell you that whatever the th element, whatever the content that you are going to take with the th element, whether that is the heading of the column or the row. Right. So just in case if anyone is getting confusion, at that time you can use the scope attribute to tell that whether it is heading of the column or the row over there. Okay. So this completes the first chapter of the second module. So one more chapter is remaining with the second module, that is the advanced CSS, which I am going to begin it in the next class. Okay, that is on Monday. Okay. So does anyone have anything to ask? Does anyone have anything to ask?